Here's your wrestling news for April 16th, 2021. And if you like what you're watching, smash that like button and give us 1,000 likes or more. And your headlines for today include: real reason why WWE released Samoa Joe is revealed. Samoa Joe breaks silence on his WWE release. A major organization claims they've signed Samoa Joe and Chelsea Green. Interesting news about what Bo Dallas was doing prior to his WWE release. Dixie Carter shocked after Chelsea Green's WWE release. WWE releases Mojo Rawley from contract, an interesting observation regarding his release. Bayley and many WWE superstars react to Billie and Peyton Royce's WWE releases. Wrestling fans are outraged, question WWE for not releasing a certain WWE superstar. Adnan Virk was totally surprised on his first day with WWE. SEC filing details just how much money WWE executives made in 2020. You don't want to miss this, guys! We're starting off today with incredibly shocking news as Samoa Joe was released yesterday, along with 9 other WWE superstars, as for the second year in a row, April 15th was WWE's date for cutting talent. Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, who was cut last year, commented on the releases, rightly tweeting, "WWE 415 says I just fired your ass." Releasing the former NXT and US champion, Joe joins the likes of Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Kalisto, Bo Dallas, Tucker, Mojo Rawley, and Wesley Blake. Joe's career speaks for itself as after making his name in TNA and Ring of Honor, he signed with WWE in 2015, joining NXT. Joe was one of the incredibly few signees at the time who were allowed to keep their own name rather than receiving a new one from WWE. The first ever 2-time NXT champion, Joe also won the Dusty Rhodes Classic with Finn Balor, the very same man who he'd topple for his first title win. Joining the main roster in January 2017, Joe became a 2-time United States champion before transitioning to the announcer's table. Fans last saw him doing commentary during WrestleMania weekend, but has since been replaced by Corey Graves on Raw and was released just 3 days after WWE's biggest show of the year. Joe's fantastic commentary run only started due to an injury, as his last match was in February 2020, and though there was a time when it looked like he'd be back, he later suffered an injury that found him back at the commentary table months later on WWE Raw, and he had been there ever since. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reports that in recent months, Joe had been vocal about wanting to wrestle again, but was being blocked by WWE, who refused to clear him. This led to some backstage arguments between the submission specialist and producers who wouldn't allow him to see Vince McMahon. Superstars not being able to speak to the boss is nothing new, as shortly after his release last year, fellow ex-TNA alum Eric Young said how he'd see superstars wait for hours outside Vince's office just to pitch him ideas, a practice the Sanity leader didn't participate in, arguing that it was a waste of his time. WWE's locker room morale hasn't exactly been great for the past year, especially following these releases, as one wrestler told Fightful, "It's just an annual reminder that this is a company, not a family." At the very least, Joe is taking his release in stride, as after news broke, he shared some lighthearted tweets with CM Punk and left a short and sweet message to WWE and the fans. Using a gif from The Truman Show, it's telling that the scene Joe used has the main character bow from walking out of a heavily controlled environment, heading into the real world with a smile on his face. Perhaps we're reading too much into Joe's gif usage, but at least Joe is showing he's seen one of Jim Carrey's best films. Given his legendary career, many in the wrestling world, both fans and wrestlers alike, were stunned by this announcement. Renee Paquette took to Twitter to question how WWE dropped the ball on Samoa Joe and said that injuries aside, it was a mistake to cut him. AEW's MJF coyly reacted to Joe's release, telling fans to stop posting the GIF, and though he didn't specify which one, he's clearly referencing his brief cameo in WWE where he was a security guard shoved by Joe, judging by the replies from fans. All talent released this week have 90-day non-compete clauses, which means they'll be paid their downside guarantees until it ends on July 14th, when they can talk to any company they like. Fans will have to wait 3 months until Joe can make a move, but that hasn't stopped speculation already rising. When Joe posted a heartfelt tweet to Matt and Jeff Hardy as their father recently passed aged 87, Matt replied with his thanks, saying that Joe is one of the greatest ever and hopes to see him soon. Matt certainly knows all about making it big in AEW after leaving WWE, and we imagine that AEW boss Tony Khan will be monitoring the situation. Whether Joe takes a cue from former WWE superstars and joins AEW remains to be seen, and whilst he has a lot of time to choose his next destination, becoming All Elite seems like his best option on the table. Following the news of Samoa Joe's release, Pabst Blue Ribbon sent out an interesting tweet as the popular beer company claimed to have signed the former NXT champion. A follow-up tweet also claimed that they'd signed Chelsea Green, who also lost her job but hasn't commented on anyone else cut from the company. It's far more likely that PBR were just making a joke after seeing Green and Joe trend on social media, but with the 90-day non-compete clauses for both, it seems they both have options outside the ring. How do you feel about WWE releasing Samoa Joe, and where would you like to see him next? Let us know in the comments. Joe isn't the only one who's gone underused in WWE, as Mickie James didn't compete for half a year before her release and is ready to get back in the ring. On Twitter, Mickie said that she was grateful for all that happened since returning to WWE in 2016 and even tagged Vince McMahon in her tweet. With a budding country music career, James does have options outside of the ring, but given that she's spoken about how she doesn't feel like she's reached retirement age yet, it'll be interesting to see what the former women's champion does next. One of the most interesting cuts yesterday was Bo Dallas ending his 13-year WWE run. Bo hasn't been on WWE TV since October 2019, but when he was spotted exiting Raymond James Stadium after Night 1 of WrestleMania, rumors circulated that he'd be involved in the Night 2 match between Randy Orton and his brother Bray Wyatt. That didn't happen, and Fightful are now reporting that Dallas was part of the WrestleMania festivities on the Friday before the show, even participating in a test match for a few minutes in the Mania ring to help the crew with the setup. After over a decade with WWE, we're not sure what's next for the former NXT champion, as his family connections and Hall of Fame father couldn't save him from the dreaded pink slip. WWE released 9 superstars in quick succession last night, but just when fans thought it was over, one more got the cut. Not long after everyone else was cut, WWE confirmed the release of Mojo Rawley, who didn't get a separate write-up on WWE.com, but was instead added in the short article written about the other releases. A former 24/7 champion, Rawley is good friends with Rob Gronkowski, and we'll have to see what Mojo does next. Chelsea Green was another name cut from WWE despite recent photos from Green herself hinting that she'd be back on SmackDown very soon. It was during her Blue brand debut that Green suffered an injury, and now she won't have another opportunity to showcase her skills on WWE's main roster. One person especially unhappy with this is Dixie Carter, as the former TNA president tweeted about Green, saying, "This girl has all the tools to be a major star. Don't get this one bit. Who will be the lucky one to scoop her up and prove me right? Who else agrees?" Tagging WWE, Impact, AEW, and ROH, Carter clearly believes in Green, and Chelsea thanked her for the support Dixie has shown her since day one of her career. Perhaps Green will join her fiancé Matt Cardona in the Impact Zone, and wherever she goes, we know Dixie Carter is rooting for her. One of the most shocking names cut was Billie Kay, as the entertaining superstar had just appeared at WrestleMania, competing in Night 1's Women's Tag Team Turmoil match. In a lengthy statement, Kay thanked WWE for making her dreams come true, thanked the fans, her friends, and everyone in WWE who supported her. She also gave a special thank you to Peyton Royce, her best friend, saying it's appropriate their WWE careers start and end together. On Twitter, Bayley reacted by showing just how much wrestling means to the Iconics, sharing a video of them watching the Night 1 WrestleMania main event live, whilst Renee Paquette said that we haven't seen someone able to connect with the crowd with limited TV time the way Billie Kay has. Like everyone else released, the Australian will have to wait 90 days to make her next move, but she clearly has a ton of support from people both in and out of the wrestling business. One name who wasn't cut was Velveteen Dream, but the former North American champion did end up trending for the wrong reasons. Following the cuts, many fans questioned why Dream wasn't released, as there's some pretty strong evidence of serious wrongdoing by the NXT superstar. WWE have insisted that their investigation into Dream provided no evidence of wrongdoing, despite one of the people making claims against him arguing that WWE never even contacted him during their investigation. And whilst he remains in WWE, fans still haven't forgotten the claims made against the Dream. Another name released from WWE is Tucker, who doesn't seem too sad about being cut at all. On Twitter, the former Heavy Machinery star said he's looking forward to telling his story, and followed that up with a "Freedom, baby" tweet, whilst his ex-tag partner Otis also weighed in, sharing a photo of them embracing at an NXT live event. From releases to debuts now, as Adnan Virk joined Raw's commentary team this week, but things haven't gone quite according to plan. Following his debut, many fans shared their displeasure for his commentary, which came across at times like he doesn't follow wrestling at all, and that's not the only issue for Virk. Speaking to the Ryan Russillo podcast, Virk said he was surprised by how few fans know who he is after a lengthy career covering other sports. Virk explains that he understands that many wrestling fans don't follow other sports, as he's done coverage for the MLB, NHL, and college football in the past, and it seems fans aren't ready to welcome Virk to the world of professional wrestling just yet. And we're ending with some financials, as WWE have posted their SEC filings this week, and business is booming for company executives. Vince McMahon's base salary of $1.4 million remains the largest in WWE, and the report indicated that the annual payout to the chairman, compared to the average employee, is 38-1. Given that the average payout is listed as $102,577, that means Vince took home $3,905,792 in 2020, and he's not the only big earner. WWE President Nick Khan, who joined in August 2020, took home close to $13 million in 2020 earnings, including $7 million in stock awards and a $5 million signing bonus. This may seem like a lot, but it was Khan who helped negotiate WWE's recent lucrative deal with Peacock, so he's already proven his worth to the company. Both Triple H and Stephanie McMahon earned $2 to $3 million in total earnings, and interestingly, Shane McMahon made approximately $820,369 from his performer's contract in 2020. That's a ridiculously high figure considering Shane wrestled 0 matches last year, and if only Samoa Joe, Billie Kay, and everyone cut from WWE yesterday were as valued at their jobs as much as Shane was making strange noises during Raw Underground. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.